milligram swing 2 weeks later due to severe pressure by the pharmaceutical and American medical establishment.
I was investigated 5 times.
What do you mean by being investigated, sir?
From the EMA.
They investigated you?
Yes, 5 times. Every time they come, I show them, here's a patient you sent home to die, cured. Other patient, you sent home to die, cured. Next patient, you sent home to die, cured.
And cure he did, including people with muscular dystrophy like this young girl. Dr. Gerson's public lectures about his therapy were unpopular amongst his peers. For example, Gerson had spoken out against tobacco since 1920.
Time out for many men of medicine usually means just long enough to enjoy a cigarette. And because they know what a pleasure it is to smoke a mild, good-tasting cigarette, they're particular about the brand they choose. In a repeated national survey, doctors in all branches of medicine, doctors in all parts of the country were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" Once again, the brand named most was Camel. Yes, according to this repeated nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Why not change to Camels for the next 30 days and see what a difference it makes in your smoking enjoyment? See how Camels agree with your throat. See how mild and good-tasting a cigarette can be.
And as more layers of the therapy were uncovered and understood, it was becoming clear to Garrett why there was such opposition to Gerson's therapy of caring for health.
The tobacco industry was the main source of advertising for the American Medical Association at that time.
Philip Morris was the Journal of American Medical Association's major source of advertising revenue. The editor of that journal, Dr. Morris Fishbein, attacked Dr. Max Gerson for, quote, treating cancer patients with diet and warning them against cigarettes. Fishbein originally aspired to become a professional clown, yet he never practiced a day of medicine or treated a single patient in his entire career.
Today it's no different. Chemical and pharmaceutical companies now run the American Medical Association and the FDA. The thing that bugs me is that people think the FDA is protecting them. It isn't. What the FDA is doing and what the public thinks it's doing are as different as night and day. A quote from Herbert Lade, the former commissioner of the FDA.
The boy remembered the superior effectiveness in a remedy his father had used on his foot. Costly and toxic pharmaceutical treatments had not worked, but by merely dicing a few cloves of garlic mixed with raw honey, his foot problem disappeared. Raw honey also disinfected and greatly sped up cuts and abrasions. Another healthy, inexpensive item used, that is non-toxic, was hydrogen peroxide. It was used as a cleanser in the home and was even found useful cosmetically in hair highlighting. Garrett found putting 3% hydrogen peroxide in the ears for a time would even prevent the common cold. There are volumes written about natural cures and treatments. Knowledge is power. Garrett gave his orphaned moose calf named Franny her last bottle of goat's milk. And so Garrett's homeschool lesson went to a new level. It was time for him to take his homework on the road and put it all to the ultimate test. The entire foundation for Garrett's study and scientific analysis of Gerson's treatment commenced around breakfast with Charlotte Gerson in San Diego. Charlotte Gerson's son, Howard Strauss, and a distinguished guest who had just arrived from Slovenia also would join us. It was here that Garrett would compare his notes about Dr. Gerson's claims with unrelated outside sources to truly see if they match up.
Dental amalgam, and it's, by the way, dentists like to call it alloy because it makes it sound so much more stable. But dental amalgam is the biggest and the worst exposure to mercury that most Americans have in their lives.
If that is true, then millions of people have needlessly suffered a plethora of ills for well over a century and didn't realize the true cause was all in their heads. I was about to film a demonstration that proved this beyond a shadow of a doubt. Dr. Roger Eichmann and Dr. David Kennedy set up a phosphorescent screen and light that would be sensitive to mercury vapor coming off the tooth if it was present after even the slightest stimulation. We had teeth with amalgam fillings that would be placed in water of just room temperature to represent saliva in the mouth. I did not truly believe mercury vapor would come off the tooth, or if it did, that the film camera would register it. I also had a video camera on hand to record this event. To my shock and horror, and as you can see, the 35mm motion picture camera did register the mercury vapor coming off the tooth. This is the first time in history this has ever been captured on a film camera. To make certain that what you are seeing is mercury, we had on hand a special instrument called a Jerome mercury sniffer to measure the levels.
191.
190. Show that to me, please. 191. Is that high?
They'll close the factory, it gets over 100 and evacuate.
Oh boy, my gosh. Okay.
Now, you think about
Turn off the light.
This is room temperature, one tooth, at least 50 years old. It's been degassing for years, and many people have a whole mouthful of them.
Yeah.
Now, just think what happens if you have half a dozen people in a elevator, all degassing like this, and it's degassing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And your OSHA standards are based on a 40-hour week.
Dr. Eichmann dipped his fingers in water to prove that this is not condensed water vapor.
Put my fingers in it. And if you notice, my wet fingers have no gas coming off of it. It's not water vapor.
I don't see anything, yeah.
That you're seeing.
Next, Dr. Kennedy set up on the counter an amalgam mixer, which dentists use in their office to mix the amalgam capsules. And after mixing, they're broken open to prepare to be placed inside a patient's mouth as the amalgam filling. The amalgam capsules are then lined up one by one on a shaker where they are shaken for a time. With an unsuspecting patient nearby, the capsules are then broken open just as any dentist or dental assistant will do. Will mercury vapor be released? Remember, this is common procedure and goes on each and every day all over the world in dental offices next to innocent patients. The images speak for themselves. For the American Dental Association to continue to insist that amalgams are safe would seem absurd.
Turn on the light. Can we see what we got?
252.
Yikes. Should we exit this? Are we getting poison in here?
Yes, it's raised the room up.
Yeah.
It's no worse than working in a dental office.
The problem is now, if you go into a dental office to remove a silver filling, and they cavalierly start putting a drill on, this whole screen would turn black. You hit it with a high-speed drill, and you're going to put mercury everywhere. And those very small